Hey legends, I'm back with another episode, still working on the 2JZ S15. So on this episode I'm going to throw in a couple more safety and monitoring sensors. Now, because I'm pushing the engine to its sort of max here, or getting close to it, probably got another 100 horsepower left, which is about 720 horsepower at the engine at the moment. I'm going to put in some more safety sensors. Actually, I'm going to put in quite a few more. The first one being pressure sensor on the radiator. Now that's going to let me know if we're starting to pressurize the cooling system by lifting the head. I can set up some parameters in the ECU to allow it or not allow it to rise and whatever, you know, so I can sort of protect the engine that way. I'm also going to throw in a pressure sensor in the exhaust system. So two parts of the exhaust system actually. I'm going to do it on the exhaust downpipe and pre-turbo, so on the exhaust manifold to check for back pressure of the turbine. And that's going to tell me if I'm at my max efficiency range of the turbocharger. Just because what I have noticed is only on 22 PSI at 650 wheel horsepower, I'm starting to taper off. So power comes up and then it eventually starts tapering off before it gets to the 8,000 RPM red line. So I want to just monitor that, and I think it's good sort of feedback anyway. So that'll be good. I'm going to put those two on. I'm going to do that on this video here. So I've got quite a bit of gear. I've got some kits from Tarks, which is EFI Solutions, which is pretty cool. I've got all the sensors, AN lines. I'm externally mounting everything, so that should come up really nice. And I'm also going to be in the next video installing all of the EGTs on all of the runners, on all of the exhaust manifold runners, and that's going to, I guess, monitor each cylinder by cylinder, the temperatures, air fuel ratios, the whole thing, and that's super important when you're starting to push this engine. So I'll do the whole install on that, which will be pretty cool. Hopefully there's some things in here, or some sensors, or some strategies, or some ways of doing things that you haven't seen before, and it can help you out, man. That's what it's all for, baby. Okay, so here's some of the bits and pieces, or everything I'm going to install. This selection here is the Tarks exhaust manifold pressure sensor kit. Here it is here. The legends making this. So what it is, it's a copper coil. It's got a couple of fittings on the end there. I think these are like a -4 type sort of AN fitting. One end here goes into, obviously there, that's welded on the exhaust manifold, or wherever you want it to be. The other end connects onto here. This is like the dampener. It's full of like, there's like a mesh or something like that in there, like a, sort of like a, you know, Scotch Bridey type sort of scenario. Just to damper it, because you've got all the different sort of pistons. They have like a frequency, so it dampens the frequency there. And then what do you have? You have the sensor going on the top. And obviously this is externally mounted further away from the exhaust manifold, so it's happy days. Then you've just got like a electrical plug that you've got to pin in, so I'm going to wire that all up. I've got all the crimpers and stuff like that, so there's no drama. So that's that first one. And then the second setup here is for the pressure sensor on the radiator. So that's going to be this one here as well. So they're the same pressure sensors. They're just a positive pressure, so not absolute. So they're a positive pressure of 150 PSI. So they're way more than enough. And what I'm going to run with that is I'm going to put this puppy So you're going to be mounted here. So this is for the radiator pressure sensor. Then I'm going to do a couple of AN fittings, a nice line that goes underneath all this. It's going to pop up, and I'm attaching onto this OEM sort of bung hole that's just sort of blocked off here. So that's going to be pretty neat, nice and neat. And then I'm also going to mount, with all this connected, sensor on the top, I'm quite possibly going to reverse mount this and have it sort of set up just like that. And then the copper line comes around here, it coils up around here, and then the bung's going to be welded onto the exhaust manifold down there. I'll take all this cover off. You'll see what I mean once I do it. I'll probably relocate the boost solenoid. That might come around here. Oh, damn it. It's not what we want to do. Poor paint. But wish me luck. Should be good. Okay, so I've just made a couple of looms for each sensor. The kit comes with the plugs. You just got to repin them all on using a proper crimper and all that sort of jazz. 2 different looms for the 2 sensors that are getting installed. Boom. Okay, so what we want to do here is, they're all black cables, so you can't really identify them because they've gone in this loom, they're all twisted around doing their thing. So one way to check which cable's which when going into the plug, just use an ohms meter, like a multimeter. And I'm hoping that most of you know about this, because this is pretty basic. But on your multimeter, you'll have a nice tone, man, when there's a connection, right? So you don't actually need to mark them if you don't want to. To make life easy for me, I've got a little setup. Put that one on there. And you've got 3 ends on the one loom, 3 ends on that one, so I just pick one of them. Bang. Then if this prong doesn't go in, yeah, I can do this. Just set up a little, just a piece of wire, something small enough to go into the pinhole. So that cable there, boom, then I'm going to mark it. All right, looking into the front of the connector, it says, and that one there is number B, which is 5 volt. So I'm going to put a red telling me I got to hook that to 5 volt, man. And then we go on to the next one. Hey. And we pick this. And it won't be number B. Oh, it's number A. A, B, B. So that's ground. So I'm leaving it like that. Black. So black can represent ground. So this other one will be signal. Boom. Okay, so I'm putting signal as white. So white, black, and red. Easy, isn't it? Boom shakalaka. Just in case you didn't get that. So normal multimeter, this is a fluke. This is probably a bit more hardcore than most. But this is ohms. That's ohms as well. That'll tell you your true figure, but this one here is the beep. Beep, beep. So it's a good one to know. On other multimeters, it might be this one, and then you might have to select a noise function on it. All right. Just a quick little process on the rest of the loom. So the first half of it I've heat shrunk, and then it's got the plug on the end. The first half is where it sits inside the engine bay. Then when it breaks through the firewall, it just goes into, I guess, random cables. So instead of heat shrinking all the way through, and it costs a little bit of money, I'm just going to use a little technique. So you kind of do like a slight twist in the cable, all 3 of them together. No twisting over the top, but just twisting perfectly together. Make your way down, and every so often put some really nice electrical tape. Keep twisting it, keep a little bit of tension on it. And then drop the tape, that's the technique. And you just go all the way through, and then go back through all the gaps again, just slightly, and it should come up pretty good. And then you end up with something like this. So I've just marked it red to know which sensor's which. But all of this now, even though it's not heat wrapped, you can see it's kind of spiraled in itself, and it makes it a lot more sort of easy to manage without breaking the back. Super cheap, that. Pretty easy harness. Does take a little bit of effort though. Okay, sensor, dampener. I'm going to put it right there. Then the copper coil will come around here, hang around here a bit, and go on to the exhaust manifold. Sensor there, and another sensor here. Okay, so I'm going to use this hole that I have actually plugged up. And I'm going to put a riv nut in there. Done this before on my other videos, on my GDR videos, so it should come up nice. Okay, I thought I'll just show how I'll quickly sort of assign these two pressure sensors. So if we have a quick little look down here on my terrible looking spreadsheet, I will redo all this again, but I'm really running out of inputs and outputs, so I've had to steal the old TPS analog voltage 2, and then I had one spare AV9 for the radiator pressure I'm going to use on that. So what you'll find too is on most pressure sensors, on pretty much all of them, they're an analog. This is a linear setup. So you supply it with 5 volts and then it outputs back to the ECU a calibrated voltage of 0.5 to 4.5 volts. So I'll just head back up. So I'm in my tune now. If I go to the analog inputs, the first part here is temperature, and then the next part is analog voltage. Number 2, bang. And then I click on here, and you can allows you to assign what that input will accept. So if I cruise down, oh, look at that exhaust pressure. Bam. Okay. I might just label it back pressure. Boom. Calibration. It's got some like preset calibrations. You just have to go through that little help section which explains it. I'm pretty sure that my calibration 4 to 6 takes care of this. So if I have a quick little look, click on number 4. Number 4 to 6, use this type of blah, blah, blah sensor. The calibration and is from 1 volt, which is pretty close, to 4.5 output. And that's for a linear setup. So for a linear output. Bam, just consider that. So non-linear is comes like in a, like a dyno graph style, where it changes figures all the time. This one's pretty set in stone. Pretty much what linear means on this, it says your output voltage doubles whenever the measurement doubles. So it's pretty set, Anyway, just blabbering on there. Okay, so that's assigned. And what you can do here is, these are just standard errors. So if it drops below 0.05 and goes above 4.95, it'll have like an error come up. And then this is where you set see the KPA. I can set whatever value I want that to come up as an error, to let me know, hey, you've gone past whatever pressure and it's not acceptable anymore. So that's where you can put your safety measurements in. I'll leave it off for now. This is for the back pressure of the exhaust, so I'm not really going to be doing that. I'll be doing that for the radiator. So if I just go boom, no, I actually don't want to close that. I'm happy with that. And then if I go back into here, AV9, which if I look, it's AV9. Now, I don't think there's a radiator pressure sensor assigned to this. So I'm going to go for a general purpose pressure. Bang. Going to do the same table. 4. I'll test all this, make sure, double check. This is where I would assign a certain pressure. I want to test the system first, see where it's happy with, because I think every different car is going to run slightly different pressure in the cooling system, different temperatures as well. Label. I'm just going to go bang and save it. And pretty much that's it, man. Alright legends, that's this video done. So came up really good. I'm pretty proud of that actually, and I love that curly Sue happening there. I know you like it, man. So pretty happy with that, calibrated really nicely. Hopefully this helps in one way or another for somebody. I'm pretty excited to see if my turbo is still in its efficiency range, so it's not overcooked yet. So I don't think it is, but I'm pretty happy to sort of log that and find that out. I'm happy to log my radiator pressure as well, just to make sure that I'm not pushing anything. Don't want to be pushing that cylinder head out of place. Anyway, what's next? I've got a whole bunch of goodies coming in. So I've got rear knuckles from GK Tech. I've got a few bars and stuff like that. So I'll be doing an install on there. I've got EGTs to go in. So that'll be a good video on knowing how to mount all the EGTs, hook it all up, use the CAN bus system and the link. So that'll be pretty exciting. Super happy with all this, to be honest. Hope you like, subscribe, you know what to do.